Hey my babies, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Riahjay, and I'm back with another video. Today is Friday, my babies. I hope all is well with you all is well with me. And I hope we all are continuing to stay about happiness, peace, and love. And I hope we all are continuing to stay determined, motivated, and focused. So let's get into it. In today's video, we are going to be discussing what Nycha needs to fucking fix. If you're from New York, then you know what Nycha is. Nycha is the projects. And if you're not from New York, and I don't know where you're from, but you know, they may call your project something else. But here in New York, it's called Nycha. So I just want to discuss like some issues that I have with Nycha, and I know that people who live in Nycha or have family who live in Nycha, or you just know about the struggles of the communities that, you know, the struggles that the communities are going through, or you have lived in Nycha before in your life, or you just, in general, you just feel a type of way about the Nycha communities, aka the projects. So just a little backstory about my history and living situation with Nycha. First of all, yes, I currently live in Nycha, the projects, but I was born and raised in Coney Island. For those who don't know that, Coney Island, Brooklyn, in the house. And I'm from Oldawaya Gardens. So Oldawaya Gardens is like down in the 30s. Like, I'm from 33rd Street, you know, between Mermaid and Surf. Oldawaya Gardens is what my projects is called. So that's where I was born and raised, you know, for the most part. Yes, I bounced around in my life, but in this video we are talking about the projects. So after I lived in Oldawaya Gardens in Coney Island, Brooklyn, and y'all know, after my shelter experience, I was placed in Dyckman. Dyckman is uptown Manhattan in the 200s, okay? It's the only projects in the Dyckman area. So, you know, I just want to talk about first what I experienced in Coney Island, Brooklyn, you know, in Nycha, and in Oldawaya Gardens, right? For the most part, the projects where I was born and raised were pretty clean. You know, they did update the parks a little bit. You know, the maintenance staff that they have over there is a really great staff. You know, they clean the stairwells, they clean the hallways, they mop and sanitize the elevator walls and the elevator floors, you know. They clean out the compactor room, you know, the incinerator room. You know, they are really just on top of their game. When I was growing up, that's how it used to be. I don't know how it is now. I don't live there, you know. So then I moved on to, after my shelter experience, I moved on to Dyckman, right? So Dyckman is a really great now, y'all know I have my own issues with Dyckman as far as the management and the people over there. You know how there's lots of demons and demonic souls over there, but for the most part, on the outside of it all, they keep their property and their community very clean and upkept. Okay, they clean out the hallways. They mop the hallways. The stairwells are clean. You know, in front of the building is clean. They have you know, their maintenance workers and stuff, and their staff in general, constantly picking up the trash, cleaning up the parks, mowing the grass, taking care of the grass. You know, just Dyckman is a really clean. The projects is a really clean area. You know, and I really cannot hate on that. You know, so currently where I am, I'm not going to say, some people probably know because I do have some videos displaying where I am today, but I am back in Brooklyn today. And, you know, y'all know I moved like a year ago. I moved back to Brooklyn. And so the community where I'm staying now, I never lived here before, but this community is so disgusting. Like, the grounds are dirty. The hallways are dirty. The elevators stink, you know. They don't clean out the stairwells. There's garbage in front of the buildings. The grass is not upkept. There's garbage everywhere. I don't feel like the staff does what they're supposed to do. I don't feel like the management here cares about this community, because it's just dirty. It stinks. I mean, oh my gosh. I'm trying to explain it to y'all the best way that I can. How the maintenance workers and the housing workers for Nycha are supposed to not only clean the building, but they're supposed to clean outside of the building, and they're supposed to clean the edges of the street. Well, where I am now, the edges of the street is caked up with dirt. Fucking dirt, trash, the sidewalks are disgusting. The grass doesn't even grow correctly. There's trash everywhere, okay? Me and Wookie came into the building just the other, when was this? Probably this past weekend. Yeah, probably this past weekend, and we literally seen a mouse for the first time. Now, I know there's mouses and rats everywhere. This is New York. This is the projects. No, I'm not making that a big deal, but as dirty as this place is where I am currently, I haven't seen one mouse. So I recently seen one, and y'all, me and Wookie was walking to the building, and it was in the corner of the front of the building, in front of the door. And when me and Wookie walked, it ran. It was literally about to go inside the building and go into somebody's apartment, right, on the first floor. And inshallah, I don't live on the first floor, because I can't imagine how many mice they got in their house, what they're dealing with, etc., etc., So I'm grateful to not live on the first floor. So, some other things that I want to talk about is the parks. Currently, where I am today, there's literally 2 to 3 parks in the entire, in total throughout the community where I am today. But there's so much space, and so much potential for these people to, build a nice playground for these children. Let's get these parks together. If you go to a white neighborhood or go to the suburbans neighborhood, they have the most recent park. They have the exercising park. They have fucking, a track field. They just have everything that they would want and need. And it just fucking sucks that, us civilians, right? Us tenants that live in Nycha, we pay our rent. They so quick to, if you don't pay your rent, they'll evict you in a heartbeat. But they don't keep this community upbeat and or nice and stuff like that the way I feel that it should be kept. Where's the money going that y'all pay? Y'all pay y'all employees, y'all pay management, y'all pay y'all taxes with our rent. So where is the rest of the money going that funds the Nycha, that funds the whole Nycha business here in New York City? It's just not okay, And then it's we're no different, because we live in the projects. We're no different than people who may live in a house or whatever. The only difference is that we are renting our apartments and they have bought their house. So that's the only difference. But there is so much that, needs to be fixed. It needs to be fixed. And then I honestly believe there's so much going on in the projects, drug addicts, alcoholics, mental illnesses and stuff, people living with dementia, anxiety, depression, asthma, and let's not talk about the water problem as well that we have here in Nycha. One day we can just wake up and, whoop-de-doo, we're going to go take our shower and wash our ass, and the water's off. There's no signs in the lobby. There was no sign posted the day before telling us that the water was going to be off. And and the mold problem as well. We know that Nycha is facing a crisis with the mold all throughout people's apartments. I mean, I don't have that problem in particular, but I do know people who have mold inside their walls, inside their bathroom. They have leaking toilets, leaking faucets. A lot of things is messed up. I remember I heard somebody say that their gas, something with their stove and their gas was messed up or whatever. And this was like this old Chinese man complaining to management about this, but there's thousands of complaints that us tenants put in. And, Nycha needs to do something about it. They so worried about that rent. They want that rent. They want that rent. But what are you doing for this community? Like, do they not? I mean, clearly they don't care about the children here that's growing up in these communities, And what about doing, I honestly believe in all of these topics that I'm talking about, it varies from different projects, aka communities throughout, the whole Nycha organization and the whole Nycha business. Like, in Coney Island, there's a lot of drug dealers, drugs, alcoholics, crackheads, prostitution, abuse, child abuse. There's a lot of that going on over there, especially when I was growing up. I can recall lots of those issues. And then when I moved to Dykeman, there's a lot of prostitution going on in Dykeman. There's a lot of drug dealing in Dykeman, and not just weed. They selling other things. And because of the police are so cool with the Dykeman area up there, you got to understand Dykeman area is a strictly Dominican world. Like, if you don't want to go to the Dominican Republic, just go to Dykeman and you're going to see nothing but Dominicans and some Puerto Ricans and some, like very little. And because the Puerto Ricans are mostly in Harlem. So, and then you're going to see a little bit of blacks, that's mostly from the projects. And the police don't never ride through the projects in Dykeman. You know why? Because the Dominican police are cool with the Dominicans everywhere. So they don't bother the Dominicans selling the coke, selling the crack, selling the weed on the corner. They really don't. It's really, there's a lot of drug dealing going on in Dykeman. Just know. And a lot of prostitution. But the parks up there are pretty nice. I can't complain about the parks. When me and Wookie was living up there, we would have many options of which park we wanted to go to on what day, because the parks up there are, they're decent. I can't really complain. But currently where I am today, there's a lot of alcoholics, drug dealing, drug addicts. There's a lot of prostitution. You can tell that this is a very impoverished community. A lot of people are poor, and a lot of people are struggling. I can see, when I look at people, I can see that some people are dealing with mental illnesses and stuff. People have dementia, people have anxiety, depression, people have post-traumatic stress. People are literally struggling, bipolar, schizophrenic. I see a lot of issues here where I am today. And I just feel like it all starts with the community. Like, why don't the management or whoever start doing like a monthly wellness check on the tenants that live in Nycha? I just honestly believe that we need it, because clearly, the prostitution rates are high, the drug rates are high, the gun violence are high, just there's so many things that go on in the projects, and instead of them, whoever is in charge of the whole Nycha organization and business, instead of them, getting to the root and the depth of the problem, because all people need is attention. They just need a wellness check. They just need to know, like, oh, I see you. Are you okay? Etc., etc. And then if they're not okay and they need, like, such and such resources to help their situation, why don't these people step in and help tenants like myself? Not saying that, I want them to do a wellness check on me, but I wouldn't be mad if they came up with this new business plan to do wellness checks. I'll tell them I'm okay, etc., because I am, But there's other people who are living between these four walls that are struggling, extremely struggling, and they need help. And, I honestly care about the tenants that live in Nycha projects. I am a product of a child who was born and raised in the projects. And I went from one to the next. Now I'm at the next. And, yes, I have plans and ambitions and goals to get me and my family out of the projects one day. I believe that I won't be in the projects forever, but even when I do leave, I have family, lots of family that live in the projects. I have people that I care about that literally live in the projects. And let's be real, y'all, 90% of the people that live in the projects will never make it out. They will die here. So instead of y'all just stressing about some rent, why don't you put some fucking effort and some change into it? Love you all, my babies. Peace.